Hi there YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So, in front of me you can see one of the only apparently surviving Thomas lines into 2019, the Thomas Minis Wave 3 for 2018. Now, I've actually had these in my hands for a little while and I was missing two engines, which was the Charlie Fruit and also the Neon Thomas. Thankfully, I have now managed to find those in another separate case at a different store, so I can bring you this complete review of all the new items we're getting for this wave. So, what are we waiting for? Let's do it. As usual, I'm going to take a quick look at packaging. You can see this here, Wave 3, blah blah blah, yep, on the back. Cool, don't care about that anymore. This is the brochure for the Wave 3 and 4. This one's interesting. They've got the themes are back again. As you can see, they're all labeled there. Interestingly, they haven't, even though it says here, returning favorites have the star, there's no stars on any of these, even though these are all returning favorites. And the same applies to the Dino theme, which is all, and the Robo theme, which is also a rehash. So I don't know what's going on there and why they're not printing it correctly. Yeah, weird. Otherwise you can see the rest of the waves of what will be coming later on, which is exciting. Okay, cool. So that's that stuff. We don't care about that anymore by 2. So, the only new Classics engine we're getting in this wave, and one of the only Classics items we're getting this year, is Yong. So, this is him right here, and yep, they have done, as they usually do with minis, a really good job of this character. They've really captured all the details of him, you know, his quite ornate, you know, crowny thing, with the big smoke deflectors, words, as well as all the printing and the dragon printing. Really, really well done. The minis, they capture a lot of detail in a little small space. It makes you wonder why they can't do it in other toy lines. Yeah, so as you can see, that's really nice. Like the green running board, it's a darker green than it looks on the camera, I think, and the red wheels. This one looks really nice. It's a nice addition to the Classics. I'm glad we're starting to get some of these international engines. People who've seen Big World, Big Adventures, I still haven't seen the movie at the time of recording this video, but I have seen what's out of Season 22, and I'm actually not as much of a hater as, I mean, I wasn't a hater from the beginning, but I actually think some of it's pretty decent, especially for a kid's show, and I have really liked the designs of some of the international engines, so I'm glad to see we're getting them in minis, especially because no more Thomas Adventures or Thomas Wood, but yeah, we'll talk about that maybe in another video. Yeah, so really nice one, I really like that. I think the face is done quite well too. So this one to me is a winner. The next one is the Fantasy Spencer, which is an addition to the fantasy theme. Look, we've had these kind of similar themed engines before. I think Spencer as a dragon maybe makes a bit more sense than some other ones because he's already kind of got that long snake-like shape, so I think that's fine. Look, you know, this is just, yeah, it is what it is. I think this is probably one of those ones where I think it's departed a bit too much from what Spencer looks like. Like, you know, he's green, and I think that's a little bit too far. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of these creature ones, and this Spencer one hasn't convinced me otherwise. But hey, if you have different opinions, I would love to hear them. So that's the Spencer. The next one we get is the Camouflage, and a Camouflage is a theme I have found quite interesting, and I actually think this is, again, no exception. Now, obviously this could also be like a fall-themed Stanley, but I actually quite like it. I think it's really nice. Again, I think they've done a really good job of, you know, it's pretty much normal Stanley, just with that nice leaf detail. And the cool thing is, you could actually make this, you know, if you want to play with it, you know, it could be leaf-covered Stanley. He doesn't necessarily have to be camouflage. So, I quite like this, and I actually think if they did more, you know, they could do more normal themes, and that might be something they should try out in the future rather than all these really crazy themes. For example, I reckon a hard-working engine theme, similar to the Steelworks theme, would be really cool, with all the engines with red puffy cheeks, and you could do with some dirt and some coal dust on them. I think that would look really nice as well. So yeah, I really like this one. I think it's a cool addition both to camouflage, but also generally. I think his eyes are looking a bit more down than they are in some other versions of Stanley. And again, you can see his eyebrow. This one is printed a bit weird, but that's fine. So, that's Stanley. I like it. The next two are the Neon Paint Splatter engines. Yep, this is Percy. Definitely paint splattered, and I quite like this one. I think he looks a bit ghostly. I think this is, it's a bit too pale, I think, for me to be neon, but I really like this part of it here. I think it looks really cool. I like the way they've moved those colors into the wheels and into the running board. So it's not my favorite neon engine, but I like what they were going for, and I think it looks pretty cool. This is one I've been excited for since I've seen it on the Thomas Creative Collective, and this one is really nice. This is a really nice neon one. I love it when they do stuff with the faces. They've done, you know, covered Thomas's face in paint. Looks really good. He's actually done in a darker blue, so it's his normal blue wheels, but then he's got a darker red running board, slightly. So that's the normal Thomas red is this one, and this is kind of more of a pinky purpley red, and then he's got a dark blue body, which I think looks really nice, especially because then it contrasts really well with the paint splatter, which looks really good. I think this is one of those ones where, again, it's, you know, it's definitely Thomas, but they've mixed it up just enough so that it's quite cool to collect. I really like this one, and yeah, this is one of my really favorite themes they've done this year, so happy to get this one. The next two is, yes, another Thomas. It's a pop art, and this is the pop art Thomas. This is one of the ones which I was having a bit difficulty finding as well. You can see here, I think they've done a really cool thing with it, you know, number one. I didn't realize that these were meant to be smoke puffs, but now I have. It makes a lot more sense. Like the multicolored wheels. Again, another cool theme. I think they've done a good job with it, and this one is definitely no exception. Really like this pop art Thomas. And the next one in the pop art is pop art Annie. She's a bit more interesting, a bit more abstract. I like the way they've kind of put her face inside the pattern. That's really something different and nice. I like it. I like the multicolored wheels. Again, I really like there's a lot of printing on this one. It looks pretty nice. I guess the only thing I have to say about this one is that because it's so printed and it's white, you can kind of see there's some marks on here. They don't quite come out on camera, but there's a lot of marks in this one's paint. And they were marked as soon as I got her out of the packaging. So I don't know how well she's going to hold up to rough play, which I think is a bit of a problem because the minis are geared towards kind of like smashing them around and throwing them and taking them in your pocket and playing with them outside. So they are designed to be played with, you know, a bit more rough than some of the other toy lines, I think. And so I think, you know, the paint issue might be a problem. But on the surface, looks pretty cool. It's just a shame there's no matching Clarabelle. Like, I think, you know, either having a matching Clarabelle looks the same. I think what would have been cool, though, if they'd done Clarabelle in this theme and done it with, like, spots or something, like the same colours maybe, or done the same pattern with different colours or something like that. So you could have, you know, a pop art train. But unfortunately, this Annie is the only coach we get in the pop art theme, which is a bit of a sad time. The last pop art one we've got is Diesel 10. And he is a really, really interesting choice for Diesel 10 to give him Fat Controller themed motifs, considering he's very un-Fat Controller following. So I'm not sure if that's intentionally irony, or if it's like they were just like, oh, we've got a cool design, which engine haven't we used, but is also very popular, yet this one, I don't know how they work out sometimes who gets what theme, because this is not obviously not Diesel 10 colors. So yeah, I don't know how they do it, but I think this one is a really cool pattern. I like the idea of all the controllers all the way around. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense on Diesel himself. So, yeah. I'm going to have to think about... Excuse me, come back into focus. I'm going to have to think about that one for a while. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. Second last one we're talking about in this video is the Monkey Percy, and I think this is a cool one. I really quite like Monkey Thomas, wasn't expecting to. In the context of Big World, Big Adventures, the Monkey one, if you've seen that episode, makes even more sense. Again, I like what they've done with the wheels, swapping them out for yellow, just brightens him up, makes him just look that little bit different, and I quite enjoy the aesthetic it goes on. And again, the attention to detail is really nice, like the way they've done these monkeys. There's a lot of detail, they're very cute, there's plenty of green for them to kind of, you know, climb around in. I really like the detailing on this. It's a nice little toy. And the last one for this wave is the, I assume he's meant to be like blueberries, but maybe also you could say grape or something. Maybe he's meant to be grapes. Charlie. And again, this is a good one because they've got the purple, which is the main Charlie color, and this is definitely a purple, by the way. It looks a bit blue on the camera. Every time it looks a bit blue, but it's definitely purple. They've done a really good job, very thorough printing, I like it. They've done a clever thing with switching to the green for the front here, which I think is really cool, and the little leaf. And then, as you all know by now, I really love the transparent, you know, wheels, and this has got transparent wheels, which I think is great. So yeah, I actually have quite enjoyed the fruit theme, and this is another nice addition to that theme. Wacky, wild, but I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so what do I think about this wave? As you can probably tell, aside from Spencer, I think it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to completing the rest of the 2018 wave, and I'm really curious to see what happens with the minis now in the context of No More Adventures, which I think is going to be really interesting going into next year. I'm really excited, particularly for the light up minis. Look really interesting because they are very small, but I think also, you know, putting lights into them is probably something which I think is maybe quite obvious, although apparently not. There's also some new glow-in-the-dark ones I've seen floating around, which I think will be awesome, because if you go back and watch my review, you'll know I love the glow-in-the-dark minis. So, thanks for watching, guys. That's all we've got time for. I have listened to all your requests. I do have some story videos scripted and ready to go, but they take a lot of time for me to make, especially because I like to make them, you know, as properly as I can. And I have now just received information I'll be doing my internship at the end of the year at a law firm, which means I'll be working 6 days a week, which is going to be interesting. So I don't know when I'm going to get time to make those. I'm sorry they're taking so long, but I am listening to you. So please just enjoy the reviews I've got coming. I've got heaps of stuff I bought that I haven't reviewed yet. So we're going to keep talking about those. And as always, thanks for watching. That's all we've got time for. This is XtremeTrainz.